we've got some news on our guy, Tony Busby. If you're not familiar with the Tony Busby situation, this has been an absolute mess for Tony Busby. So we saw some recent updated filings from Jayz, most specifically his lawyer, Alex Spiro. He came out and said, hey, this is what happened once Tony Busby decided to take a step back from participating in every piece of the legal aspects of this dismissal of Jane Doe's lawsuit. So Alex Spiro gave some insight into what was going on behind the scenes, the conversations that Alex Spiro was having with, we're going to call him Mr. K, now Tony Busby's attorney and the person who was representing him on these lawsuits. So Alex Spiro and Mr. K went back and forth, and Mr. K allegedly said to Alex Spiro, listen, if y'all don't do what we're asking, we're going to drop some more stuff on you. And I'm going to tell Jane Doe that you're threatening her, which was wild. Then we had the updates and we read the transcript from the private investigators that met with Jane Doe, where it was revealed that Jane Doe let the private investigators know that one of the lawyers, she said it was Tony Busby, we don't know who it is, but one of the lawyers she spoke with told her that Jayz was threatening her life. So all this goes back and forth. In the meantime, Tony Busby is facing a lot of legal battles, not only with Judge Torres, who he was supposed to have some information to by today, but also the Southern District of New York. So now we have an update from Tony Busby, and here's what's going to happen moving forward. Shout out to Megan Cuniff again, doing some amazing investigative work on this. And she posted this over on X last night. She said, Tony Busby has withdrawn as an attorney in the lawsuit against Sean Diddy Combs. Wow. Took you long enough. Shame on this man. After the judge ordered him to explain why he didn't disclose, he's not admitted to practice in the Southern District of New York Federal Court. Notice it was filed last night just before the deadline. What does this say? We've got John Doe, who Tony Busby was representing, versus Diddy and other people mentioned there. We have a notice of motion to withdraw appearance. Please take note that the pursuant to Local Civil Rule 1.4b, Anthony Busby, an attorney for the plaintiff in the above captioned action, hereby moves to withdraw his appearance as an attorney of record until such time he is admitted to practice in this honorable district. Well, thanks for doing the right thing, Tony. Why did it take this long? I don't understand how this whole process goes, but if you're not admitted, he should have done this a long time ago. And then, of course, he says the plaintiff will continue to be represented by the remaining counsel of record for Cruis Law. Hopefully I said that right. And then, of course, forcefully submitted, I might add, Anthony G. Busby. And this is to, of course, the judge in this case, as we saw. Now, there is something else that came out about Tony Busby that we talked about, but I want to revisit here as well. Megan Cuniff also says they have an order from the U.S. District Judge Ronnie Abrams, which we talked about. The lawsuit against Diddy remains active, and Busby says his New York-based counsel will stay on the case, obviously. And they say to Judge Ronnie Abrams says it has come to the court's attention that Anthony Busby, who signed the complaint and several other filings on behalf of the plaintiff, has not been admitted to practice in the Southern District of New York. This was the whole issue and the whole reason there was the back and forth. And Alex Spiro brought it to the judge's attention, Judge Annalisa Torres's attention. And she said, hey, Tony, if this is an issue, we need to have this settled by the 18th. Here we are at the 18th. And now Tony Busby says, I got to go because the Southern District of New York saw the play. They knew what I was trying to do. As we mentioned, someone mentioned in the chat as well, I think it might have been Melody yesterday, that it's interesting that Tony Busby was doing this because he may have been signing all of these claims and pushing everything through because he thought he could get some cash and that maybe someone would write a check. I'm noticing a theme when we see even the transcript from the private investigators that Celebrity B's name has been left out of pretty much everything. So it makes me wonder if Celebrity B has already written Tony Busby a check. He already had a win there. And whoever she is said, hey, just keep my name out of it. I don't want any trouble. Here's what I've got. And maybe one of the reasons why Jane Doe dropped this lawsuit in the first place, because it was going to be more of a fight than she wanted. And Tony Busby messed up. And there's so many other things on top of this. Either way, he wasn't admitted into the Southern District of New York. Moreover, although Busby was warned several weeks ago in a parallel case that this conduct violated Local Civil Rule 1.3 and 1.4, he failed to bring the issue to the court's attention. No later than March 18th, which is today, Mr. Busby shall file a letter explaining why he failed to notify the court about this issue earlier and proposing next steps to rectify it. So now we have Tony Busby saying, all right, guys, you win. I'm out of this. So the question is, what is going to happen with this moving forward? We reviewed the actual lawsuit of this John Doe and what he has going on in a separate video. I'll leave that in the description below. But what's going to happen to Tony Busby here? Because we've seen from him misstep after misstep when it comes to him lying about his client, when it comes to him setting up this wild NBC interview that made his client, notably one of his more notable clients in this Diddy lawsuit situation, just look foolish. Now they're having conversations. Tony Busby, I said leaks. Tony Busby gave a recording of a phone call he had with his client to ABC, and they showed that on Good Morning America. This is just a whole mess. So y'all will have to let me know what you think in the comments in the chat. What is going to happen to Tony Busby next? I have a feeling that this isn't the end either.